Hargeisa city is the capital of Somaliland, a self-declared republican breakaway country from the war-torn Somalia. Having had very successful transition of power through democratic elections in June, the country is well set for esteemed economic growth and improvement of its dilapidated physical infrastructure. Hosting a population of over 800,000 and increasing steadily, the city has severe challenges in water supply. Out of this exploding population, only 8,000 households have piped water supply, translating to a bare 1% of the population. The situation is even worsened by the ever-increasing upsurge of refugees from Somalia, and an annual 3% natural population growth has seen a steady increase of demand for water. Since early 1970s, no extra wells have been drilled, nor large transmission pipes installed to compensate for the increasing population. The entire city is supplied with only 12-inch pipes constructed by a Chinese company in early 1970s. The pipes are shallow and exposed in many areas and are often overpressured, pumping water 24 hours a day, every day.
The current water system that the capital uses right now that was designed by the Chinese in the 70s for a city of about 800,000 people. And as I mentioned earlier, we're pushing almost 1 million people. 60% of the water that is used here in Hargeisa is trucked in.
On a daily basis, 10,000 cubic meters of water is pumped to the city. Out of this, 40% of the water cannot be accounted for or lost. According to experts, this volume of loss is way beyond the 15% ordinary loss and is attributed to possible illegal water connections and loss through leakages in pumps and during transportation. Over 90% of the population relies on water kiosks and vendors who transport the commodity using donkeys, lorries or other means. From these retailing points, consumers end up paying up to 10 times more than the charges of Hargeisa Water Agency. Existing water tanks that were built in early 70s cannot supply the large city population. With this unreliable supply, water shortage is still a big problem here. Water is pumped from the 13 wells in Gedeble to booster stations at Bio Kada, which boost the energy further, pumping into the Chines reservoir and then distributed to the city by gravity. In this case, most of the upper parts of the city do not receive piped water and have to rely on trucks and donkeys for water supply.
soo kaca salaada subax marka laga soo baxo ilaa iyo xilliga ilaa 12 hadii aan ku soo gaaro waxaan helaa biyo iska yiri ama 5 ama 6 jeer baan helaa waana duruufta ayaa marka sida dhigaysa hadii ay ka badan yihiin dadka waan waraabin karaa garanaysa marka intaan u shubay intaan u shubin aan u badahiri karin waxa boqolkiiba boqol badan intaan maanta aan biyo u helin
wadna waxa la ciidanka qaranka gaar ahaan militariga anigoo biyaha u dhaamiya taasoo ay naga haysato dhibaato weyn biyaha aad iyo aad waxaan nimaadna marmarka qaar kood kuyuga 3 habeenimo wali xilliga waan taagana loo biyaha kama dhaamin.
In spite of the numerous challenges, Hargeisa Water Agency and the Ministry of Mining, Energy and Water Resources have managed to continuously supply the demand of water in the city.
wax badan baan anagu ka Hargeisa han qabsanay shumshaarka shaqaalaha bishkooda ilaa 5 aan iska bixinaa shidaalka biyo soo saarka ama geedeble ama biyo khadar baan noqotay anaga iska bixinaa spare park anaga diranaa waynu arki doonaa water waxaanu leenahay balance system wanaagsan oo computerized ah afircan cement naga caawiso laakiin anagu wax badan baan ka qabsanay guryaha dadka sanadkan hawsha ku qabanay xafiisyada aragteen waxna anaga dhisno waxna Africa 70 naga caawsay.
Water problems here are as a result of poor management of water resources, lack of funds to purchase new equipment and rehabilitate the existing infrastructure, technical know-how in water handling and treatment, and limited water supply from wells. Currently, the water agency is incurring huge bills in maintaining water pumping generators and machinery. Out of the monthly income, the agency pays 15% to salary, over 70% on maintenance and fuel, leaving the board with no money for maintenance or possible expansion of their capacity. Africa 70 is working closely with Somaliland Ministry of Mining and Energy and Water Resources in a European Union-funded project to uplift the water service infrastructure in Hargeisa. Since its inception in 2003, Africa 70 has supported the ministry in putting up generators, provision of equipment, maintenance of the existing infrastructure, and offering training to the staff.
One of the main interventions was even producing a new billing system, that is the one currently adopted by the agency. Because before, each boreal was equipped with pump, generators, water meter. After our intervention, everything had been centralized, a booster station in Gede. We provided even all the overhead electrical lines that are connecting the boreals with the pumping station and everything.
So far, Africa 70 is working on a master plan geared to holistically improve Hargeisa water infrastructure through 5 key areas, namely rehabilitation and securing existing infrastructure, increasing the water production in the well fields, including construction of Haraf infiltration gallery, rehabilitation and extension of the urban distribution system, rehabilitation of the main adduction pipeline from Gede to Hargeisa town. In relation to these objectives, the project has developed a hydrogeological study and mathematical model of the aquifer to identify new sources to be exploited.
We have a first basin that is northward of Gede, that has been explored by 2 study wells drilled by Africa 70 in 2007, if I'm not wrong, which gave us good hope for a possible additional 2,000 cubic meters per day. So we have Gede, here is this small basin called Hora Hadley. Eastward of Hora Hadley we have a long basin, more or less long like Gede, that is called Las Dure, from the name of a wadi crossing it, in which there are already 3 private wells that exploit this aquifer for rural, for irrigation mostly. This basin could constitute the second additional source for the town, the double of the Gede basin.
The increment of water production in Gede will increase the supply by 1,500 cubic meters per day. Construction of Haraf infiltration gallery is expected to increase the supply by 1,000 cubic meters per day. Development of new well fields in Hora Adley is expected to increase the supply by 2,500 cubic meters per day.
If we develop Hora Hadley,
that is the one near the white
and Las Duhur, we are going to double the quantity. We reach 20,000 per day.
All these additional well fields and improvement of the existing ones will increase the general water supply to Hargeisa from the current 10,000 cubic meters per day to 21,000 cubic meters per day, to translate to 100% increment of water supply if this project is implemented. This will drastically reduce the hassle of long queue at night and staying for days without water. For the above actions, Africa 70 has collected reliable data on the amount of exploitable water, as well as developing an accurate estimate of investment costs. The project has also produced the final designs of the investments for the rehabilitations of infrastructures and those related to development and exploitation of new sources. An investment and a financial plan was developed, presented and discussed with Africa's 70 counterparts towards the realization of this plan. In full conformity with the counterparts, a new management model based on public-private partnership was designed to improve the water management system.
But what we're really going to try and look for, if we couldn't find this money from anywhere, is to perhaps attract private investors. And when I say private investors, we're talking about local investors as well as foreign investors if we find the interest, and set up a mechanism for us to bring in these investors, show them a decent rate of return on their investment and a time for them to really kind of recoup their money that they have invested, and lease the operation and maintenance of the system and have a contract with them for an extended period of time to make sure that they meet the supply need of the city.
Change of offices as a result of the entrance of the new government resulted in a rapid and dramatic change for local actors and their views. In light of this, some assumptions have been set aside, and in the final phase of the project, the focus was on creating a single private company which would be responsible for the management of the entire cycle of supply. The master plan was based on possible assumptions, estimates and accurate evaluations, while in the industrial plan is the development of detailed design carried out starting from the assumptions and estimates included in the master plan.
All that boreholes must be cleaned through high lifting, re-equipped with new equipment. Another one that is a priority, for example, is the replacement of the main pipeline, adduction pipeline, now linking the Gedeble well fields to the town. Another intervention that has been designed in the industrial plan is a new primary distribution network in the town that includes the construction of new pipelines starting from the main Chinese reservoir in town and joining this tank with new tank that we have designed in town in order to improve the coverage of the water supply system to the town.
The European Union delegation took a tour of the water supply system in Gedeble, Half Infiltration Gallery and Hora Adley recently to witness what the situation is like.
We realize that there is a number of investments that need really a reinforcement because the population growth makes it that the infrastructure that exists now, it's not enough to fulfill the needs of the Somaliland people.
These activities funded by the European Union are designed to improve the infrastructure of water supply in Hargeisa and ensure clean, healthy drinking water for the population. Reckoning that a lot still needs to be done, Hargeisa residents should realize the need to conserve and actively participate in sustainable development of this important resource. The community has a role to report on illegal water connections and other vandalisms which deny the authority revenue that could be used to upgrade the services rendered.
si lagu waraabin karo si ay biyo ku helayso way ka dhacday hadii sidan ay ku sii socoto oo si dhaqso ah oo degdeg ah oo gurmida wax loogu qabo laga soo gaadhi waayna meel dheer bay ay magaalada armeedu tegayaan xagga biyaha.
Harnessing of rainwater harvesting to supplement the limited supply from the water board and pay water bills promptly for effective service delivery. In this way, we will have enough reliable and safe water for our city.